students, this is Naveen Mishra, your physics teacher, and today we are going to discuss the VI characteristics, limitations of Ohm's law and electrical energy and power. Students, in our previous lecture we have completed till the Ohm's law, and today we will discuss these three topics. First one, we are going to discuss the limitations of Ohm's law. After that we will discuss linear and non-linear characteristics, and after that at last we will discuss electrical energy and power. Let's start. Students, in Ohm's law we have studied that the condition V upon I is equal to R, and that is equal to the ml upon Ne square A tau. And students, in this expression we have meaning of these terms are: m means mass of electrons, L is the length of that conductor, N is the electron density, E is the charge of electron, A is the area of cross section, and tau is the relaxation time. And according to the Ohm's law, if a device follows the Ohm's law, or if a conductor or if any body follows the Ohm's law, then the graph between current and voltage will be linear. Such devices which follow the Ohm's law are called ohmic devices or ohmic conductors, and the devices which deviate themselves from these curves like this, they are called non-ohmic conductor. Then what are the limitations on the Ohm's law? Number one limitation is with increase in current and with increase in time, the temperature increases. Students, whenever we pass a current through the ohmic conductors or ohmic devices, then at the beginning of that current there is no change in temperature, but after some time you will find that the temperature of that device will increase and you will find a deviation from the Ohm's law. Then first limitation is the temperature. Students, and what is the second limitation? In some type of devices, students, I think you must know about a device known as voltmeter. If we consider a water voltmeter, you can study about water voltmeter. It is a simple device, but I will not discuss detail. But here I am considering a simple voltmeter. This is not voltmeter, this is voltmeter. In voltmeter, if we pass voltage and current, then there is a linear relation between voltage and current. Means the graph between V and I is straight line. This is straight line. Means this device is ohmic. But students, see this graph. Till the voltage V naught, at the starting of voltage, there is no increase in current. If you suppose this is current and this is voltage, then Ohm's law said that V is proportional to I or I is proportional to V. We say here it is found that at starting with increase in voltage there is no increase in current. Here is a deviation from the Ohm's law. Next one, students, there are so many type of devices which do not obey the Ohm's law, and these devices are semiconductor devices. In semiconductor devices, what happens? Suppose that, students, we are taking an example of diode, PN junction diode. It is a semiconductor device, and for PN junction diode, if you will draw the graph, then you will find that voltage and current graph will be non-linear. It will be curved. This is deviation from the Ohm's law. Students, in some cases, there are some special cases, just like thyristor. It is a semiconductor device. Thyristor is a semiconductor device, and in thyristor you will observe very different phenomena. In thyristor you will observe that with increase in voltage, after some time current starts to decrease. With increase in voltage, after some time current starts to decrease. But Ohm's law says that V is proportional to I, or we can say I is proportional to V. Means here with increase in voltage, current should increase. But in thyristor you will observe that initially current increases with increase in voltage, but after some time it gets decreased. Then students, these are the few limitations, or we can say few foundations on the Ohm's law. Now we are going to discuss some things like you have already know about the ohmic and non-ohmic devices. Students, those devices which follow the Ohm's law are called ohmic, and those which do not follow the Ohm's law called non-ohmic. And one special type of material is there which is known as superconductor, and there is a phenomena called superconductivity. There is no detailed discussion here, but we should know that superconductors are those conductors or those materials which have zero resistance or zero resistivity, and such type of devices or such type of materials has no loss of energy. Means if you pass current in such device or some material, then it will continuously flow for the infinite time. Then superconductors are the some special type of materials, or we can say they work on some specific conditions. For example, mercury behaves like a superconductor at very low temperature. Similarly, there are so many materials, there are so many conductors which behave like a superconductor at the low temperature. You can find the temperature value, or you can find that critical temperature at which they behave like the superconductor, you can find in the given table. Okay students, now we are going to discuss about some basic concept of electrical energy. What is electrical energy? Students, we have already studied in our previous classes, in class 9th, in class 10th, that energy means capacity to do work. Very straightforward definition we have already discussed so many times, that energy means capacity to do work, tendency to do work. Then in the same way, what is the electrical energy? Means capacity to circulate charge. So capacity of anything or any body or any battery or any cell to circulate electrical charge. Consider we have a resistor R. Consider students, we have a resistor R connected to a battery of voltage V. Connected to a battery of voltage V, and a current I passes from this circuit. Then consider to supply a small amount of charge Q. Suppose we are supplying a small charge Q, or we are circulating a small charge Q through this circuit. Then what will be the work done to circulate that charge? That will be W is equal to Q into V. We have already studied this formula in chapter number 2. Electric potential V is equal to W by Q. From here W is equal to QV. This is the work done to circulate this charge Q. Now, if we can write this charge Q in the form of current, you know very well, since I is equal to Q by T, then Q will be equal to the IT. Put, this is equation number 1, put in 1, put this Q in 1. What happens? W is equal to IT into V, or sometimes we write it VIT. This is the formula of electrical energy. In so many books it is written U, electrical energy, VIT. V is the potential difference, I is the current that is circulating in that circuit, and T is the time taken. Next, you can modify this formula. Suppose V is equal to IR. We know very well Ohm's law. V is equal to, put in this equation. You will find U is equal to I square RT. formula number 2. Formula number 1, this is formula number 2, modified form. You can modify it again. Put here I is equal to V by R. From the same I is equal to V by R. If you put here I is equal to V by R, then you will find U is equal to V square T by R. This is the third form. Then these three are the formula for electrical energy, and we will solve so many numerical which will be based on these three formulas. Next comes, students, electrical power. What is the electrical power? Then we can define electrical power. We have studied in class 9 electrical power or any type of power. P is equal to W by T, work done upon time or rate of doing work, or we can say energy upon time. Then put this formula, you will find, put here at the place of W, VIT upon T. What we can obtain here? P is equal to VI. Similarly, put this, P is equal to I square R. T cancel out. In that, P is equal to V square by R. Then students, we have these three formula for electrical energy and power, and in our next chapter, in our next lecture, students, we will discuss a very important topic, that is internal resistance, EMF, terminal potential, and we will discuss so many things about the cells and combinations of cells. Thank you so much.